Hello, Pamela here with a marketing tip about building your mailing list, which I consider a core activity to creating a really strong marketing foundation for your business. Now, today I want to talk about two things. One of them is more of a philosophical orientation to how do you really want to grow your mailing list. There are many different ways that you can do it. What kind of business do you want to have, and what kind of relationship do you want to have with your audience? And the second thing is, what are some pragmatic ways that you can get it going and get it started if you don't currently have one, if you're just in the early stages of starting up your business? So on the philosophical side, you probably have seen, if you've been reading marketing blogs and following people on social media, that there are a lot of different ways that you can grow a list. And there is a particular school of thought, which is really get as many names as you possibly can. Sometimes you can do big events like a telesummit or a gigantic free webinar, something like that. The purpose is just to get as many names as you possibly can. You put a lot of energy into creating really effective marketing copy, and it can be great to get 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people on your list. Definitely, it could be a great thing. One of the downsides to this strategy is if you have the kind of business where you really want to build more of an ongoing relationship with your folks, and if you have a whole bunch of people who are just jumping on for one particular opportunity, like attending a great webinar or participating in an event, as quickly as they've jumped on, they could also jump off. And so it's just to be psychologically prepared for that. I can't tell you how many coaching conversations I've had with people that get kind of devastated when people start jumping off of their mailing list. And one of the ways that I've trained myself is to just think, you know what, it's fantastic. If somebody is coming on my list, that is great because somehow they heard of me and they want to learn more. And that's a great thing. And I hope to build a good relationship with them. If they happen to jump off my mailing list, that's okay too, because they're respecting their boundaries. And maybe what I'm providing is not what they want. Maybe they don't like my style. Maybe they don't like the content. Maybe I go through a period of time of promoting something, which to them feels like a little bit too much and they're not getting value. So it's great if they choose to move on, because what you want for your audience is for them to feel like they're getting really fantastic content and they are connecting with you personally. So that goes for any kind of approach you have to your mailing list. But sometimes when you're doing huge events in order to build your mailing list fast, that can be the downside, is sometimes people will jump off as quickly as they jump on. So just be prepared for that. The other approach, which has been a little bit more my approach that has philosophically to do with the nature of my business, has been to really grow my mailing list in a slow and consistent way. I started it in 2004, before I started my blog, which was in 2005. And it was a way just to begin to connect with people and let them know what it is that I was going to be working on in the coaching side of my business. What makes me laugh now is I remember that it took me a whole month to write one newsletter article. I stressed over it. I remember I was on the plane back and forth between Phoenix and the Bay Area because I was flying all the time then doing a consulting project. And on that one article, I spent an entire month writing it, which was the first one. Now, of course, I can do it in an afternoon, and I'm so used to generating content. We're really in a different world. So, growing your list slowly, starting out by providing some great value. The choice that I've made in terms of what it is that I offer to my mailing list on a consistent basis is my newsletter, which has a core article, which features my clients, which features also what's going on in my business and things like that. You can also choose to offer all kinds of other great information to your mailing list. And growing it that way slowly over time, for me personally, has meant that I actually know the people who are on my list. I really do. I many times when people reply via email, I actually know them because I've worked with them as clients, or maybe I've met them live in person. And so I tend to have a really good, strong relationship that feels a little bit more personal with my list. So that's just a choice that I've made based on the nature of the business that I have and my own personality. And it's worked really well. I feel like I have a great quality list of people who really are there because they want to be. And as I said before, if people choose to leave, I totally respect that, because it means that we're just not a good fit for each other, or maybe they're past the stage of escaping Cubicle Nation and they're on to bigger and better things. So think about your particular philosophy to how do you really want to begin to grow your list. If you're attracted to thinking about growing it really fast, then some of the marketing activities might be exciting to you about big events that drive a lot of people quickly. Or if you want to grow it a little bit more slowly and sustainably, a little bit more personally, then you can use some approaches that are related to that. So that's the first thing to think about. Whatever fits your style is good. There's no right or wrong. Now, the second thing is in how it is that you actually start. And it's really, really important to realize that if you don't have a mailing list, first of all, that you need to choose some kind of a service that works for you. Common ones that people use would be MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact. Personally, I use Infusionsoft, which is great for my particular stage of business. But you want to have a service that will automatically sign people up, where if they need to unsubscribe, they can do it right through the system. The worst thing in the world that you could do would be to create a mailing list just out of your own email box. Please don't do it. It's a total nightmare. Now, when you decide to do your mailing list, I very commonly have clients who come and say, well, great, I'm just going to add everybody to my mailing list, and then if they want to unsubscribe, they can jump off. Please do not do that. It is, first of all, not ethical. It's against the Canned Spam Act. You cannot put people on your list without their permission. And so what you want to do is to send a message, maybe to people that are hand-selected from your inbox that you think would be a good fit for your mailing list, and let them know what it is that you're doing. I'm excited, I'm starting my new side business, and in my newsletter or on this mailing list, I'm going to provide you with this kind of value, these kinds of tips. And then you can invite people to join by putting a link in that email to a place where they can join your list. Now, of course, you're not going to get as many people that way than if you just took your entire email inbox and automatically put them on the list. But believe me, you will have a lot fewer people who are upset that you did it. And it's really the ethical and correct way to build your list. So that's the way that you start. Begin. I don't care if you have 5 people on your mailing list. That is precious, and it's like the yeast that begins your great dough for your great bread. It definitely will grow over time. So those are some basic tips for first thinking about how it is that you grow your mailing list. I am going to be doing a very specific webinar on this topic as part of Power Boost Marketing, and I'm going to be opening it up at the end of this month one more time for some new participants. And so I'll also be providing some very specific content to people who are joining that mailing list. As an example of not wanting to constantly send my overall mailing list information about the new program because they might get a little bit tired of it, I'm inviting those that are interested specifically in these marketing tips about growing your business to sign up in the form that is below if you're reading my blog, or to sign up at powerboostmarketing.com if you're just watching this on YouTube or some other place on social media. I'm excited because the last week of this month, I'm going to be providing some really specific tips and tools for people that really do want to dive in a little bit more deeply. So I hope you enjoy it. Enjoy your day. Get busy, get your list cracking, and you'll get a lot more information about it coming up. Thanks.